Howdy friends, it's Michael B. Thank you so much for checking out today's video. And in today's video, we're talking all about those Nintendo Switch 2 leaks. I'm very excited for this upcoming successor to the Nintendo Switch. Of course, leaks went out during CES. Nintendo have finally responded, so we'll tell you a little bit about what they said. On top of that, we're going to do our final CES touch base. We're going to be looking at some of the latest products from MyArcade, some of the ones we knew about. We finally get a very good look, as well as some big surprises in the form of virtual pinball from MyArcade, and I've got some exclusive footage from the event to share with you. And then last but not least, an update on Wonderland Amusements. We're all looking forward to their first pinball machine, Alice Goes to Wonderland. We've got a new look at the artwork, as well as an update on when the Kickstarter will start. And I'm going to tell you more about all this right after this. Alright guys, tons of news to share with you today. Nintendo Switch 2 leak rumors and Nintendo responding, Wonderland Amusements, and of course MyArcade CES reveals, and some updated information. But before we get into that, I want to say thank you so much everybody for checking out the video. Guys, I always appreciate the support. If this is your first time to the channel, you like what you see, go ahead and subscribe. Click the bell for notification. All that YouTube jazz. So the Nintendo Switch is now officially as old as my daughter. I remember getting it basically a month after my daughter was born. Since then, we've had an upgrade in the form of the OLED Switch. A lot of people didn't think it was really an upgrade, but me personally, I love the vibrance that the new screen provided, and it really gave a new lease on life for playing the Switch portably for me, where I previously mostly played it docked. So I'm very excited about the next iteration of the Nintendo Switch, going in a very non-Nintendo path. It looks like they're basically doing the same thing again, only better. Now, heading into CES, there was a lot of hype and rumors from people who cover this console almost exclusively on their channels that we may get an official Nintendo reveal of the Switch successor during CES. We didn't get that, and I was kind of holding off on talking about it until I saw if Nintendo did it. But what we did get was a whole bunch of leaks and one company basically giving away everything. I'm sure by now you've seen the Genki video of the Nintendo Switch 2. Here we get a look at the console, what it's going to look like. It's very strange to me because it seems so different from all the other prototypes they showed off, but it looks like it's going to be an all-black console with the kind of neon blue and red like the original Switch, kind of on the inside of the controller and around the joystick. We're getting our first look at the dock and what can be confirmed as the Nintendo Switch 2 logo and name. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be an upgrade to the original, a much bigger console. Hopefully it still has an OLED screen. Hopefully still all the Nintendo Switch Online memberships, controllers, all that stuff works. So yeah, this is what we're looking at. Now this looks very different from the previous release prototype. This looks more like the OLED model, what we're used to. So in this prototype, basically what they did was they sent this out to this creator, I think Switch Up, showing off the case, and they had a dummy Nintendo Switch inside it with white panels. It does kind of match up with the black design with the neon red and blue on the sides if you take a look at everything, but it looks like we're going to get an option for just white and black, and it looks like it's going to have a much bigger screen as well. I will tell you personally, I'm hoping this thing has 4K output docked and at least 1080p resolution while in handheld. That's going to be a big necessary upgrade for the Nintendo Switch 2. I also kind of hope that it, like I mentioned earlier, the screen is OLED because I don't want to have to buy a mid-tier upgrade, in the middle of this console's life. So this video has ruined a lot of excitement from people from the Genki booth, getting a look at what the Nintendo Switch 2 is going to be like. And right now, everybody's waiting, is this official or not? Because it looks like the big announcement has in fact been spoiled. Now, a lot of people wondering, Are these rumors true? Well, Nintendo finally got off its ass and made an official statement stating that the products that Genki have shown off to make their accessories for the Nintendo Switch 2 were not official. The exact statement, as you can see down here, the gaming hardware that Genki claims to be Nintendo hardware at CES is unofficial and not provided to the company by Nintendo. And another brief but similar comment given to Japanese newspaper Senki, Nintendo quoted as saying they are not official. So while much is left up in the air on whether or not this is in fact what the Switch 2 is going to look like, this is the logo, and we can get some information on screen size and other things from it, Nintendo's saying, hold your horses. Now, there are further reports today that Nintendo are doubling down on this and sending lawyers to go after Genki for the damage they've caused to the Nintendo Switch 2 reveal and all that stuff. I'm not really following that. I am going to wait patiently until the official reveal, but as you guys know, I was a huge Switch 1 guy. I bought all the accessories. I have a huge library of games. I had a ton of fun with my Switch and Switch OLED model afterwards, and I will be a day one buyer of the Switch 2. Now, moving on to something else that did happen at CES, let's take a look at what MyArcade had in their booth. So going into CES, there were a lot of product reveals or teases by MyArcade going into the event. It seemed almost impossible that they would have anything left to actually show at the show, but they did manage to still surprise us. I want to say a huge thank you to Mark Petrick. You guys may know Mark. Mark is the creator and administrator of the officially unofficial At Games 4K group here on Facebook. He headed out to Vegas for CES and was kind enough to share some video from the MyArcade booth that he shot for me to make this video. Now, heading into the event, there were some very exciting things we were talking about, like the Pac-Man 45th anniversary. We just saw it up there, the Mighty Player. Here is the Casino Player and the Pocket Casino. Moving down, we do have the pole position Pocket Player. And last but not least, the Retro Super Champ makes its return. Now, I will say I'm surprised by the Pac-Man Mighty Player in person. It looked like it had yellow on the front. That is definitely a lot more gold. That is clearly a 16:9 screen, and that white border is questionable, but there it is. So another big thing we were excited about was the Bandai Namco Capcom partnership. There you can see the Game Station Retro, the handheld where you're going to be able to play those games, as well as an update on the Game Station Retro Pro. We all love the Atari Game Station Retro. It looks like they're also going to be offering a fighting stick, which you're going to want to play some of these Capcom arcade games with. There it goes back to the Game Station Retro. I like the coloring on it, don't really understand the product. And here we see the Mega Player, which is basically MyArcade's $300 countertop or countercade. I love the look of the control panel, the black. I love the concept of this. I love that somebody else is getting into the countercade business. I do hate that side of artwork. I mean, that Pac-Man pole position Galaga is really rough, and we've seen what the other side looks like already. So, not exactly the best looking products, but I am excited to see what more they do with the countercade line, and maybe some other people will be interested in these other Bandai Namco partnership products as well. So another thing that was at CES last year, we're getting our finalized look at it, is the other Mega Player, the Atari Anniversary Edition. I think this one is a little bit better looking. Have some questions about the screen size on that. That looks to be a 16:9 screen, so I'd like official confirmation on that. This is going to be, again, $300. It has all the control components you'd want, spinner, joystick. It's also got that number pad, so you can do whatever you want in terms of games. Yeah, I appreciate them trying here. I don't know if it's a product for me, especially with a 16:9 screen. Here, of course, is the Atari Pocket Player that was newly announced, and this was the big surprise, the Balls of Steel digital pinball coming in at $150 US. It's going to be playing Balls of Steel games. That was really exciting, as well as an arcade joystick for the Game Station or for the Retro Arcade. I'm not 100% sure. There's a control panel going back up to this pinball. We're going to talk about this more in a little bit. Very exciting reveal from MyArcade. Now, I want to say a huge thank you to Gen X Grown Up. He was actually at CES and gave us a very good look at this in person. So, these are going to be playing the Balls of Steel Pinball Pack. I'm not that familiar with them, but John did a really good job of covering what's on the screen here. Basically, what you're getting is a single screen pinball game. The back glass is just going to be a lit back glass. There is no color DMD or changing back screen. From what I understand, you're just going to be playing pinball on this solitary device. But from what I hear, at $150, these games don't have any flipper lag. So here you can see some gameplay from John. Right now, what John is doing is just showing the different features. As you can see, the DMD is actually going to be at the top of the screen, which is not a bad compromise at the top of the playfield, because it's going to be easier to see than what a traditional DMD would be, honestly. In terms of graphically, it's hard to tell from here, but I can't tell the quality of the graphics. I don't know if they're going to be 720p, 1080, it's something you'll have to see in person to guess. The display looks pretty sharp, so I will say that. Yeah. Now, if you want to know a little bit more about Balls of Steel Pinball, this is not an original creation that MyArcade have come up with. No, this is another pinball developer outside the realm of what we're used to with Magic Pixel, Farsight, and Zen Pinball. This is another type of pinball. P-Dub's got a chance to play these. He wasn't overall in love, but they did make original games based on the Atari licenses, which are going to be included in this MyArcade Balls of Fury mini pinball machine. Now, last but not least, we did finally get a look at all the Sega products, what they're going to be looking at. The jury is still out whether or not these are going to be arcade ROMs or console ROMs, with Streets of Rage obviously being a console ROM. Golden Axe is up in the air. It looks like they're just going to be micro players. We get a driving player from Outrun, which is going to feature Outrun and Outrunners. Revenge of Shinobi is a console ROM, and honestly, obviously Sega is going to be a console ROM as well. We're getting two versions of Sega. It looks like we're getting a Sega micro player, which is the one we're already no, not micro player, joystick player. I get all these names mixed up, which is what we're familiar with. The artwork is not arcade based. A lot of it is just art based. You saw Golden Axe and Streets of Rage down there. You're also going to be getting a Sonic micro player, or is that I think there's a micro player and a Mighty player for Sonic, as well as the joystick player. Anyways, that's a look at the Sega products they have coming out. This was huge news when first announced. There's the products you can see. Probably the one I'm most looking forward to. Really, honestly, the only one I'm looking forward to and interested in is, of course, Outrun. Hopefully it's as good as Pole Position. Now, there was one other video from the MyArcade booth where an altercation happened between a couple YouTubers, but we'll leave that for discussion at another time. Now, we've all patiently been waiting for more information from Wonderland Amusements on their upcoming Alice Goes to Wonderland pinball machine. We've got updates on the production. We got updates on the playfield a little while. We probably now have received our biggest update to date on the upcoming 3/4 scale physical pinball machine. So I got a heads up from the company a couple days ago. I apologize, I'm only getting around to making a video about it now, but we finally get a look at the art for Alice in Wonderland. So let's open this in a new tab and see if we can get a better look at the image. Here it is. So the Alice in Wonderland art, I've got to say, is beautiful. I love the art style. I know we talked about this a little bit on Super Game Room Dudes last night. P-Dubs isn't necessarily fond of Alice's face. He says she looks kind of like a zombie. It's definitely going for a more gothic, dark look. So I don't know if it's so much zombie, but it is gothic and dark, which the artist is apparently known for. The other thing is, I don't know if she's so much a zombie, or maybe she's a little bit on drugs. I mean, Alice in Wonderland, if you read it back, is a whole diatribe, or, giant secret story about drug use. So there's something to be said about that. Maybe she is on drugs and the whole thing is a huge trip. I don't know. What I do like, of course, is I love this character here, the giant worm, and his hookah with the purple smoke coming out of it. I love the giant Cheshire cat in the background with the eyes smoking over the Alice Goes to Wonderland updated, what is it, logo there. That looks really good. The Mad Hatter, everything looks really good. The only complaint people are making is, of course, Alice has kind of the zombie look. It doesn't really bother me all that much. Now, we don't know exactly what this art is for. Is this the art for the backglass image? Is this the art that's going to be on the side of the cabinet? We're not sure right now, but so far it looks pretty good. My only real comment about the art is usually with pinball art, you want to go with something a little bit bright and, vibrant. That usually seems to sell well, especially when you're in a darker establishment like a bar or some of our home arcades. We do have the lights off and black lights on. You don't want something dark you can't see. Now, some people have said it's dark to throw off that eerie setting. You don't have to be dark to still make it good and scary. A great example, would be the upcoming Evil Dead pinball machine coming out from Spooky. This thing has beautiful, bright, vibrant colors, light greens, pinks, purples, everything in it, while still maintaining that dirty, dark, dingy form factor that made the Evil Dead so familiar. So you can do dark gothic art that is creepy while still adding a little bit of color to it. So probably the biggest news isn't just that we get a look at what the machine's art is going to be, but now the machine is officially launched on Kickstarter. This is going to be the medium in which they sell the machines to the public at first. So Kickstarter can be good and bad. The good thing is for the company, it allows them to build the money up as they go. The bad thing with Kickstarter is, of course, if you get to a certain point in the campaign and then cancel it, all the backers lose their money, so you could be out money. There's a risk and reward with this. The reward is usually you get it at a much cheaper price by backing the Kickstarter. So right now, Kickstarter's up, but it isn't officially live. I know that the team, Jerry, and the rest of the Wonderland Amusements teams are headed back to Hong Kong to get an updated look at the prototype machine with the play field, with the code actually integrated into the machine, with the art applied. I can't wait to see an update on that and see what this machine looks like after we've seen it so bare bones at Pinball Expo, to see it at this point where it's almost finished, and it sounds like the Kickstarter could start relatively soon. So I'll leave a link down in the description below for the Kickstarter. If this physical pinball machine is something you're interested in, you can follow, and you could possibly invest at your own risk. So anyways, guys, that's just my quick news update for today. Nintendo Switch 2 leaks. I mean, is it real? Is it not real? It's kind of looks real. We'll have to wait and see, I guess. But if it is real, I gotta be honest, I'm liking what I see so far. It's very basic in terms of the color, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. Even with the black having the neon red and blue callbacks to the original console, I like the bigger screen. I'm hoping the rumors are true about it being OLED out of the gate, because OLED is such a necessity to me now that I've experienced that with handhelds with the Switch OLED. Even with the Steam Deck OLED, I need an OLED screen. So make that happen. Make the 4K docked happen. Make all that cool shit happen. Hopefully Nintendo gives us an official reveal soon. On top of that, MyArcade with some very interesting products announced at CES. Outside of the Outrun, I don't know if there's anything I'm really, rushing to the store to buy. I think Outrun I'm interested in when I get more information and it becomes available. The rest of it, it's kind of a mixed bag. Like, I'm definitely more interested in MyArcade coming out of CES than I was going in with all the reveals, new partnerships and stuff like that. There's still the question on if they're going to nail the concept, implement the concept well, because they've got great licenses, but how are they going to actually put them out on store shelves? How are they going to perform? Some of the stuff didn't turn out as good as I hoped, seeing those mega players with the 16:9 screens. Really disappointing. That should be Home Arcade 101. Never use a 16:9 screen. And then on top of that, last but not least, Wonderland Pinball. This seems to be moving along. We're going to be getting our Kickstarter soon. Kickstarter is a risky situation. Me personally, I'm going to follow it. I'm interested. But it's hard with a pinball machine you never want to buy until you've had a chance to play it. And especially, you don't want to jump in on a Kickstarter before you've had a chance to play it. So I hope once they get the prototype done, we see the art and stuff like that, the code's integrated, they get these machines out to some places for people to check out, get them in people's hands so they can review them, so we get a better feel for this machine before we're asked to fork over the cash. Anyways, guys, what are your thoughts on the news topics of today? Do you think the Nintendo Switch leak's real? Are you going to be backing Wonderland Pinball? And did anything from MyArcade CES booth interest you? Let me know in the comments down below. Once again, thank you very much for watching. This is Michael B. the Game Genie. I'll talk to you next time.